You are a visionary, an entrepreneur, a business owner. You want to make money from your passion and create the freedom that you've dreamed of. But it's slow. The income is slow, the impact is slow, and the freedom is slow. And here's the kicker. You've actually never been busier. You're working longer than ever, burning through daylight, and your family have forgotten who you are. You're tired and frustrated and you can't even sleep well at night. The business just feels so heavy, and all you ever wanted to do was just make the money you want to make doing the things that you want to do. And that's where I come in. Hi, if we haven't met yet, my name is Dr. Brooklyn Storm, and I'm the host of the Business Acceleration Podcast, where we shift your business from heavy to light, time poor to time abundant, and from income lack to income growth. We're going to achieve it together with my 20 years experience as a psychologist, helping people just like you to break through their barriers. And we're going to throw in a little of the woo as well. So thank you so much for pushing play today. Let's begin. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Business Acceleration Podcast. I'm super excited to be here today because I'm joined by a superstar called Maeve Ferguson. Maeve, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
Okay, so Maeve, to sort of set the scenes for everybody, can you tell us a little bit about who you help and how you help them?
Sure, of course. So my name is Maeve Ferguson, and I run my own online coaching business where I help women to set up their signature online business service program. Okay, so basically what I do is I help women who either want to leave their corporate job to set up their online business so that they can live life on their own terms, or I help women who maybe run a one-to-one in-person business and they cannot scale with that model, and I help them to take their businesses online.
Okay, and so how did you come into this line of work?
Okay, so this is an interesting one. I was previously an accountant. I worked in a very corporate environment for a number of years, spent a few years in London. But unfortunately, quite a few years back, I became very, very ill with a virus and spent the best part of 4 years housebound in bed and in a wheelchair. And yes, I caught a virus, but I'm a firm believer that my lifestyle and how much I was overworking and running marathons and kind of pushing my body to the extreme every single day put me in a position where the virus was able to take me down for such a long period of time. So what I did then, thankfully, I recovered. So very, very, very lucky. I recovered, and I did go back to my corporate job, but I knew very, very quickly that it was no longer the right thing for me, for my health, and for my life long term. So I started thinking long and hard about the favourite bits of my job. So I ran a team of 50 people in my job, and I absolutely loved that and knew that I really wanted to do something with people, and preferably women as well. So what I did was then I left my corporate job. I retrained and as an executive coach with the Academy of Executive Coaches, and I set about setting up my own online business, and it is just going from strength to strength.
That's so exciting. So now you're helping women how to create their signature programs, is that right?
Yep, signature online service business.
Okay, so for people in the audience who are perhaps thinking about starting a business but don't know what a signature program or a signature online business means, could you share a little bit about that?
Of course. So I think all of us have unique skill sets. All of us have something that we are really phenomenal at. Okay, and that's what I mean by the signature piece. Okay, so my skill set is helping women is to set up that whole online piece, get clients, and scale through automation, through systems, through process. Okay, for someone else, it may be able to their skill set may be helping somebody to lose a significant amount of weight in a certain time period, or to, for example, break through any mindset blocks that they may have. Okay, so everybody has a very unique skill set, and my job and what I do with my clients is I help them match their skill set to a real want within the marketplace. Okay, so we've all been there where we've maybe set up businesses that are passion-led or what we think the world wants, and then you go out there to the world and you get crickets. What I do is make sure that my clients are doing something that, yes, means a lot to their heart and is their signature, but there's also a market need so that they can get high tickets, paying clients consistently over time.
What do you think are some of the biggest challenges that people experience? You know, why do they engage with you? Is it because they've already tried a number of different ideas for business and it's just not working? Or, what are some of the common themes that you see?
Yeah, I think there's two main things. I think one is sheer overwhelm of information out there. There are a catastrophic amount of informational based products out there from people who perhaps hash together a cheap ebook who've never actually done it before, or people who you know what it's like online. There's just you're bombarded with information all day every day, and there's the lovely shiny object syndrome where you're heading down one path and the next thing somebody else appears in your Facebook and you jump onto their bandwagon, and then 2 weeks later you jump onto someone else's. 12 months later, you're no further forward. Okay, so that I think is one thing that I commonly see is people who just have had enough of being bombarded with information and they don't know where to go next because there's just so much stuff out there, they don't know who to listen to. And then the other type of people that I would find is that people who are very, very skilled in their own environment, but they aren't necessarily business-minded or system-minded or process-minded, and just don't know how to set up their own online business. They definitely have the skill set in their signature area, but it's just the framework really that goes around that.
So at what point would, say, most of my audience are female entrepreneurs, but let's just say at what point would somebody want to engage the services of a coach that could help them develop the automations and the systems, or find out whether or not their idea was going to be wanted and needed by the marketplace?
Mm-hmm. So I think what I find with my clients is that a lot of women, they are okay, so what I find then is women who are perhaps working in a one-to-one model, and they get to a stage then when they just simply have no more bandwidth. So all of us have a number of clients where we get to that stage with the one-to-one model, perhaps in person, and you just realize you physically cannot do anymore. And what happens then is we basically max out. That's our maximum income level. We cannot scale our business any further. And then we start asking the questions about how can we automate this, systemize this, and turn it into a group program that doesn't lose that individual touch.
Okay. So what are the advantages of engaging somebody that can help us with these sorts of questions?
I think the biggest thing is that your business becomes limitless. so that there is no top cap on your business if you're able to automate and scale. If you're able to run your business with systems and processes, you can scale to whatever level you desire. And it's just knowing how and putting the infrastructure in place to allow that to happen.
The idea of scaling sounds really exciting, and I guess maybe we understand intellectually that scaling is what needs to take place, but there's some fear there around look like, because people say, well, you know, Brooklyn, I'm a coach, and so nobody else can coach these people. I need to coach them. So what would you say to somebody who's in that position and has that, I guess, concern in her business?
Yeah, I totally understand that, because as a coach myself, there is a very important kind of bespoke one-to-one element in the truest form of coaching. But what I would say is there are many ways to coach. So I have invested in several coaching programs myself. I have invested in several really, really high-flying mentors so that I can bring my clients the best knowledge that is out there. And they all work through an online coaching program with group coaching calls. And what I find is it actually enhances the experience, because rather than just asking my questions and being coached through all of that, I'm actually hearing experiences of people from all around the world, and it's actually a much deeper learning experience.
Okay, so a group coaching experience might look like maybe I sign up with you to do group coaching, and there might be 4 other women with me in that group, and you tell us, okay, there's going to be a live coaching session on Wednesdays at 4:00. And so then we all dial in to Zoom or Skype or Messenger or whatever platform you're using. And then what happens? How does the coach then give the coaching to the 5 women in the group?
Yeah, so what tends to happen, and this happens in the other coaching sessions that I would go to as an attendee as well, is that all of the different women would be coming from obviously their point of view and something that they are experiencing perhaps a block with. It might be a mindset block, it might be a tactical or strategic block, and they would bring their question to the coach, and the coach would, and I would basically take them through a normal coaching conversation, but the benefit is then that others get to hear that, and it might release a block for them as well, and then vice versa. The next lady would ask their question, and what the person that asked the first question could also learn from the second kind of coaching conversation as well.
Okay, so I guess I was in some group coaching calls, and they had big audiences, you know, like there was maybe, I don't know, one of the groups I was in, there might have been maybe 100 people.
Yeah, so it's impossible.
Exactly. And so I never got any opportunity to talk one-on-one with the person who was the coach. And what happened in that situation was, you know, it was like the same dominant voices every week, but we're getting all of the help. And of us sort of expressed some concern about that, and nothing happened, but that's fine. But that was just an experience that I'd had. I haven't actually had an experience where it's been a small group, but I imagine that if it were a small group, it would be you could moderate that if you were the coach.
Yeah.
And maybe do you have a theme for that session or something, and so the attendees can think about that theme leading up to, and maybe they can, I'm just thinking about people listening who might be interested in how they go about setting something up. Yeah. Maybe then they invite the attendees to submit a question ahead of time, so
Yeah.
that they can
Yeah.
prepare. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
really excellent idea. And then something I like to do as well is to keep the audience small. And what I also try to do with clients who are going from the one-to-one model up is to basically, you can do a hybrid for a while, obviously up to, again, to a certain finite point because you're a limited resource. But in terms of, so my kind of baby package, if you like, people get 8 one-to-one sessions, and once they've used up their 8, if you like, then they move into the group program. Okay. But then obviously there's obviously a scale point there too. If you've got 1,000 clients, you can't do 8 times 1,000, over and over again. But the coaching calls, if you can keep your audience small, and what I would find with a lot of, especially the very, very high ticket coaches that I work with, they perhaps only have a Q&A call once a fortnight or once a week. What you can do whenever you're in that kind of in-between stage and you want that more unique environment is to hold maybe 2 or 3 Q&As per week and limit your numbers, so that it's a bit more intimate and the conversation is truer, if you like.
Yeah, I think the advantage from a business perspective of having the group coaching is it means you can more easily achieve your impact goal.
Yeah, exactly.
So, if you have an impact goal of saying, well, I want to be able to support this number of clients this year, it allows you to do that, whereas you couldn't do it if you were just capping yourself on a one-to-one, because at the end of the day, your time is finite, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think there's a massive gap in the market there at the moment where you have the people doing one-to-one and they're maxed out, they're running all their own admin, they're stressed, they're wired. And then you have the people that are doing 35 million a year and have thousands of clients. And we aren't doing either end of that. It's basically this piece where people are trying to go from having an in-person business to creating their online program.
Yeah, sure. And what do you think, like in terms of your business and where your business journey has come from, where do you see your business going, Maeve, in the next, say, 12 months or 5 years?
Mm-hmm. So in the next 12 months, the plan is to basically to serve all of my clients to the very, very, very best of my ability. And I'm only as good as my clients' results. Okay, so very, very focused on the clients that I have at the moment and growing steadily in the background, but not here to say, right, I'm going to make 5 million by next Christmas. It is very much about working with my clients, getting their businesses online, putting all their systems in place, their processes in place, so that they can scale and they can achieve the success that they want. And then over time, all of my coaching, so a lot of the things you're saying about coaches doing one-to-one, I have been through that journey myself. So I know the pain points whenever you start maxing out, and it's crystallizing that into basically the next stage of your evolution as a coach. So that's my next big piece, is just as we've been talking about, is turning that into online courses, etc., without losing that very, very precious one-to-one relationship and touch. And that's where the real breakthroughs happen with a coach. So it's getting that perfect model where you get to the best of both worlds, really.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. And what do you think, when is it the right time for a coach to start looking at moving from one-to-one to hybrid or one-to-one over to group?
I think the coaches know themselves. They know whenever they are frazzled, wired, they maybe have a client come round to their office in person and they're scrabbling with their notes to figure out which client this is, what on earth they talked about the last day, and they're pulling things out of the sky because they're almost in overwhelm mode because they've so many one-to-one clients on their roster, if you like. And basically it is, they mightn't have an online presence. They might have built up a local community of women who come to them for a specific reason. What I love about my clients is they all have exceptional skill sets, and it's just this tactical, strategic piece with the mindset system bolted on that will allow them to go from where they are now up to that next level. And it's, to me, the majority of them know themselves. I need to get online. I need to be able to scale.
When you say mindset, what sort of comes up a lot for the people that you work with?
I think, especially with the online piece, there is a block in terms of ability. Like, it is so complex and it's so difficult. And I chuckle to myself because in my old corporate job, I was kind of like the dinosaur lady. Like, my staff used to laugh at me because they were all like very, very young, very cool, very, very capable with IT stuff. And I was the dinosaur lady. And then I set about building my own website, setting up all my profiles, building all my automations, building all my systems, and learned by doing for myself whenever I was setting up, and realized, you know what, it's not that hard, and there's so many blocks around it in your head that it's just this big giant mess that you don't know where to start. And all you need to do is work with somebody who knows exactly what to do in the right order, which is really important, and just walk you through the process, basically.
You make it all sound so easy. Like the idea of, I think, yeah, you're so right. A lot of us do feel the overwhelm, and we do feel like we're doing everything ourselves because nobody else is going to do it the way we want it to be done or need it to be done. And maybe we've had some unpleasant experiences of hiring VAs that didn't work out, and then it was kind of like, I knew this was going to happen. So listening to somebody like yourself who's on the outside be able to very clearly articulate, well, there are a lot of steps that you can take, and you just have to make sure that you take the steps in the right order, and you are more than capable of doing it. You just need somebody to sit with you and show you how. And then that's also going to grow your confidence. Sounds like a message I think a lot of needed to hear. So thank you so much.
That's okay, no problem.
Maeve, how can people get in touch with you if they do want to talk with you about how they can, I guess, simplify their business and take it online or scale it?
Yeah, so my website is www.maeveferguson.com. So apologies for my first name. It is Irish, so not very helpful, because I get asked at least once a day, how do you pronounce that? So it's Maeve and then Ferguson.com. And I'm on Facebook, Maeve Ferguson Coaching, Instagram as well at Maeve F Executive Coach. And just reach out, and all we can do is have a conversation. So what I do with all of my prospective clients is I have a free breakthrough session where we sit down completely free, there's no obligation whatsoever. You might just need to have the right conversation with the right person for you to have that breakthrough. And if you, at the end of the conversation, you would like to work with me, brilliant. And if not, there's absolutely no obligation. So get in touch. I absolutely love helping women to progress their lives and live life exactly on their own terms. So just reach out. Just visit my website, maeveferguson.com.
Thank you so much. You've been a breath of fresh air, and I'm sure that you're going to get inundated with contacts, which will be amazing.
Yeah, no problem. Here to help.
Booking your session. It's just been such a delight to be able to speak with you, and just thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate you giving us your time today, Maeve. Thank you so much.
No problem at all. Thank you very, very much, Brooklyn.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening today. I really hope that you enjoyed it and got a lot of value from it. Help me help others by sharing this podcast. And if you feel called to leave a review on Apple Podcasts, remember to let me know so that I can send you a very special thank you gift. Now go and build your dream business, and I will see you next time. Bye.